So hello everybody, the next step that we have to do after we finish all the characters, right, in Illustrator, the next step that we have to do is adjust each of the character proportion so that it can work very well with FontForge. Otherwise, it's going to be very tedious jobs, okay, to change the proportion of each of the character in FontForge, alright? So there's some setting that you can do with Illustrator before you kind of like export it, okay, and work on FontForge, right? So what you have to do, okay, the next thing that you have to do is, of course, create a new workspace, right? Just go to News, right, and make sure that you kind of like use point as a measurement unit, all right? Give 1000 pt for width and 1000 pt for height, like this, okay? And just hit enter. Now we have a new workspace here, right? We have a square, nice square. So okay, now we have to kind of like just find the baseline, as in the line x height. Okay, the most important thing is to find baseline and x height. Okay, so I'm going to use the guideline from Adobe Jensen's as a as a guideline for the proportion. You can use different proportion if you like, but it's going to be a little bit headache. So I would recommend you to kind of like follow the calculation that I'm doing here, okay? But in the later projects, right, you can kind of like come up with your own proportion. There's nothing wrong with that. So in this empty space, okay, the first thing that we have to find is the distance between a center line to the baseline, okay? So let's have a look, okay, at the proportion of Adobe Jensen's, okay? So the ascender, okay, the distance of the ascender is 280, okay? This is descender lines, okay? Descender here, okay. I'm going to kind of like enlarge it just a little bit, okay, so that you can see here just some guideline. And then we have to create baseline, okay, baseline, and then the x height, yay, here, baseline, right? Next is the mean line, okay, mean line, oh shoot, okay, something like this, okay. And you're going to the distance between the baseline and the mean line is x height, right? X height. So how to find the baseline, which is the most important thing, okay? So we have to find the distance, okay, between the descender line, which is 280, to the baseline, okay? The descender line is at the end of this corner here of the working space at the bottom, okay? So next thing we have to do, we have to open the rulers, right? It's a tool that is hiding in views, okay? Or you can use a shortcut by just press Control R, right? Or Command R for Macs, right? Control R for PC, okay? And then we have this working space, right? So next what you have to do, kind of like create a guideline by dragging just dragging a guideline from the grids, right, the blue grids from the rulers to the end of the workspace here. Next you have to find 280, okay. The x height, okay, for Jensen's is 382 here. It's around that. So the distance between the center line to the baseline is 280. Is it confusing? Here to here, right? It has to be 280 distance between here. But where is it exactly? Where it's exactly, so that we can kind of like create the baseline here. What you have to do next is you have to like change the position of the ruler just a little bit, so that you can like measure, okay, the distance between the descender line to the baseline, okay. To do that, just go to the corner, okay, of the ruler here. Just go to the corner here, okay, and drag it Okay, just drag it like this. Oh, sorry, it's just one line. Okay, just drag it like this to the left corner on the bottom of this workspace. Make sure it intersects here. Okay, so now what will happen? The serial number will change to the descender line here, right? So, oh, sorry. Okay, now we have some guidelines here. Now we have to go up, okay, from 0 to 280. Where is it exactly? It's probably around here. Okay, we could zoom in. Okay, just zoom in and find, just find the distance, the right distance, which is 280, something like that. Okay, that is close, that is close. Now I find it. Okay, so we drag another guideline here to 380. Oh, no, sorry. No. 280. Sorry for being confused a little bit. Okay, 280, where is it? Okay. Yay, now I can find it here. Yeah, it's here. Okay, just drag another guideline, okay, from the ruler here. Zoom out. It's around this. Okay, so zoom out. Okay, now we have the baseline, okay, here. So like I said, the distance between the descender line to the baseline 280 point, okay, and this will also work, okay, with FontForge if you work on a 1000 UPM space. All right, we're going to talk about that later. So the baseline is here, it's sitting here. Next we have to find what? X height, which is the most important thing on earth. Okay, if you can't define the X height, then you know you can't create anything. So the X height here is the distance between the baseline to the mean line, right? The X height. So the distance between the baseline to the mean line is 382. Okay, let's find it. Okay, but right now, as you can see, the serial number is at the descender line, right? So we have to move it to the baseline so that we can measure and find the mean line. Okay, how to do that? The same thing. Okay, the same thing. Just zoom in. Okay, zoom in and find, you know, just find 382. Oh, sorry. First we have to kind of like drag, okay, the corner of the ruler here and make sure it's kind of like intersect with the baseline, okay, here. So the serial number will change to the baseline, and we're going to find the 382 from here. Okay, now zoom in and find 382. Where is it exactly? 382. If you have a better you know, working method, feel free to use it. Okay, this is just one way to work on it. We do this quickly as possible. Okay, now we can see 384. Okay, now I find the proportion here. Yeah. Now just drag the guideline to 382 here, right? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, exactly. It's there. Zoom it out. It's around here. Okay. Zoom it out. Now we have the X height. Now we're ready to work on, you know, the lowercase letter. Okay. So now the mean line is here, right? The X height is 382. It's the distance between the baseline to the mean line above that. Now, okay, we go back to the grid or the character that we already designed here and here. Let's work on the lowercase first. Okay, lowercase is here first, and next time we're going to work on capital letter, which is, you know, it's not going to be difficult, because for Johnson's the, what can I say, the ascender line, right, is kind of like very close to the distance of you know, it's very close to the height of cap lines. Okay, So let's work on the lowercase. Yay! Just copy it, okay, and place it in the new workspace, working space here. Place it, okay. You can also, another way to do it, okay, you might enlarge all the character all at once, okay, all at once, and then you adjust the proportion later, okay. Make sure it kind of like close to the, you know, the proportion here that we kind of like give it to the fonts. You can like enlarge it like randomly, or you can give a specific number by open like properties, okay, open property windows here, okay, it's in window, okay, and you select property file, it must be somewhere, yeah, property here, okay, go to window, right, select property here. You can also kind of like, you know, give a specific number to the width and the height here. Make sure, you know, it links together between the width and the height, otherwise the proportion will be pretty weird, right? So let's give it like 4,000. I don't know whether it's correct. I'm going to give it a random number here, okay. Now as you can see, it's become bigger, okay, but it's still too small, okay. Then increase it to 5,000. How about this? Okay, now it's still small, too small. How about 6,000, sorry. Okay, not too bad, it's pretty close. 7,000. Okay, now, yay, it's around here, it's around here, okay. You could make an adjustment later, okay. It's around this, you move it a little bit, okay, upward, so that we can work on the artboard. Now we have to create 26 artboard, okay, for each of the character here, okay, and you have to kind of like separate each of the character and put it in a different artboard, otherwise we can't export it, right? So the next thing you have to do is just press Shift and O on your keyboard to kind of like work on the artboard, or just select it on the you know, the tools here, the tools bar here, there's a option called artboard tools, okay, or just press Shift O over there. Okay, I'm going to like zoom out a little bit. Okay, now we're going to work on the artboard, and you just copy and paste the artboard, right, and make sure that that's you know, there's 26 artboard for each of the character. Shift O, okay, and then you can copy and paste it like normal, okay. You can also move it around, okay. Just make sure you kind of like do it quickly like this, okay. You can also, you know, copy and paste it like this, okay. Just hold down Shift, okay, and select all of the artboard here, and if you want it to align with the, you know, upper artboard, right, just hold down Shift and just press Alt on your keyboard, right, oh sorry, hold down Shift and Alt together like this, okay. It's going to copy all the artboard above that. We have 16 now we have 24, right? So there's another 2 artboard that we need, I think. So what we have to do is copy another 2 artboard, okay, place it around here. Oh, and don't forget to kind of like, you know, copy the guidelines for each of the artboard too, okay. I forgot. Okay, make sure there's a guideline here as well, otherwise it's going to be not going to be precise when you work on, oh sorry, see, there's some errors here. Move it a little bit up, okay. Make sure all have guidelines, right? There's a guideline for each of the grips or characters here. Now the next thing that you have to do is just, okay, ungroup all the character first, right, and kind of like place all the character in each of the grip here. Make sure it's kind of like you know, move a little bit leftward, okay, so that you know, that's, it's just a technical thing, okay. You have to adjust the space, right, between each of the character again. In FontForge, it's going to be a painful things, I must warn you. But anyhow, don't worry, we're going to get through this together, okay. So if we kind of like move it a little bit leftward, right, we only work with the right side bearing, okay, otherwise we have to work, you know, on both other sides. It's going to be too much, okay. Next, but make sure you have some space left, okay, between each of the characters when you place it on the artboard, right. This is not really precise because I'm going to do, you know, the kerning, the tracking again in FontForge, alright. But I want to make sure that each of the grip is like, you know, can be imported into FontForge without any question. Oh, sorry, without any problem. So we're going to export it in SVG format, okay. So you can also import other files format, but when I try it, okay, I find that SVG is the easiest one. Okay. Might have to move it a little bit up, okay. Make sure that all the letter form is inside the artboard, okay. So there's no part that goes over the artboard, otherwise it's not going to be shown on the, it's going to be in the wrong position. It will show in FontForge, alright, but it's going to be in the wrong position. Make sure it's inside the artboard. Move it a little bit leftward. Okay. You might take consideration of optical compensation as well at this stage, okay. Just make sure that everything's alright. I feel like some of the character is a little bit too short, like M and N here. But okay, never mind. I'm going to keep working quickly, otherwise it takes forever to make this tutorial. Sorry for that. Okay. P and Q. Okay, just put it here, okay. Make sure the body of each of the character fit with the X height. Make sure it, you know, the base of each of the characters sits on the base line, right? And make sure that the tallest part of the character kind of like touch the mean line, right? Something like this, okay. Something like this. Something like this. Yay! Now next step is we have to export it, and we have to kind of like, we can also copy and paste each of the character in FontForge as well, but the problem is, like I said before, right, the proportion of each of the character will not be correct, and it's going to be like very difficult to kind of like adjust individual character to fit with you know, the proportion over there. So make sure you kind of do this. The reason why I kind of like didn't advise you to kind of like adjust the proportion like this in the first place, because as you can see, okay, it's required a lot of working space here. Sometimes we don't have enough working space, right? We have to enhance all the characters, so it doesn't matter. So I'm kind of like you know, ask you to do it later and do it separately. Otherwise, of course, if your computer have some kind of problem, then it might crash down. Do this, okay. You could save this file as well. I also upload some of the guideline here, like this kind of like guideline on Google Classroom. Just check it out, right? Next thing, just go to File and export it, okay. Go to File here and export it. There's 3 options for export, alright. Just choose the middle one, export as, here, and then choose the folder that you want to save all the character that you're going to export it, okay. In my case, it's going to be here. I'm going to give it a name, give the folder a name. But for Mac user, this might be a little bit painful. Here's the thing, there's some problem, technical problem between FontForge and Mac operation system, okay. The thing is, okay, FontForge is a free software, which actually it can be used with both PC and Macs as well. But the main problem is this: the developer kind of like, you know, I'm not so sure whether he realized this, but when the new version of Mac OS, right, or the operating system kind of like upgrade, right? So there's kind of like new security policy that going on. So it kind of like so it make the font lab is not compatible, like fully compatible with Macs right now, but it can be used. Okay, so when you save, okay, your all the character here, okay, another thing you could do is you could use like OneDrive or you know, like Google Drive or something like that, and save all the script over there, and you could, you know, import it from there in FontForge. Okay, and after that you can also save it and export all the fonts, okay, generated by FontForge outside your computer. Okay, you might use OneDrive or Google Drive for instance, but if you have others server to kind of like save all the script and file, right, please do so. Sometimes also help the problem, fix the problem. Just select the folder that you're going to, like, you know, save all the script. So just give it a name, any names, right? And when, oh, another thing I would like to emphasize is when you kind of like create the artboard, right, make sure it's in the it's in the numeral number, numeral order, okay? Because if you kind of like if you don't work systematically, okay, when you give it a name, okay, like character 1, 2, 3, 4 something, this Adobe Illustrator will kind of like give you an automatic name, okay, here, run the number for you according to the artboard. Okay, if you kind of like don't actually you kind of like place the artboard all over your workspace space, then it's going to be a problematic when you identify each of the characters. So make sure you kind of like, you know, make sure you kind of like being so very organized. Okay, just come up with a file names. Okay, it can be anything you choose. Select SVG as an option. Okay, this is very important, SVG, and tick this box, right? If you don't tick use artboard, right, it's going to be a problem, big problems. Okay, because it's not going to export each of the character, okay, separately. So hit export here, then just hit OK here. Now we're done with Illustrator. Wait for a while. Then the next step is just open FontForge. Okay, FontForge, we're going to import each of the character in the working space. So they're going to have this hideous windows pops up here. The thing that you have to choose is filter or the type of the file that you're going to create. Okay, the most popular font file that people use now today is TrueType and OpenType. Okay, now let's work on OpenType first. I'm going to like explain it later about the type of fonts. Okay, PostScript is kind of obsolete now, type 1 as well. Okay, just to choose OpenType. Okay, and then hit News. We're going to have this grid window showing up here. So what exactly is it? Okay, grid window is where we're going to, like, if you double click each of the, you know, the table here like this kind of grid window will pop up. This is where we're going to put all the characters and edit it here. Okay, close it first. Okay, this is for A. As you can see, that's going to have like alphabet above there as a guideline for each of the character where to put it. Okay, make sure you put all the letter form in the right grid window, all right? Otherwise you can't type it, all right? So next, what you have to do is you go to elements here. Okay, we're going to like adjust the proportions of the working space just a little bit. Go to font info, all right? Go to font info. Another window will pops up like this. Okay, font info. This is pretty important. Just give your typeface a name. Okay, it could be anything. In my case, I always use TLK. Okay, because that is like my fonts. Okay, it's an abbreviation of Trilogan. That is just, you know, the font family that I designed. So I always use TLK. You can come up with any fancy name. Okay, it depends on you. You can also write some copyright details here, as well as the trademarks. Okay, how people will use your fonts or whatever it is. Okay, whether it's Creative Commons, you can also write a statement here as well. Okay, you can you know, change the version. This is the first version, right? You can change the version to version 2, version 3 if it's like a revisions of your typeface. Okay, next thing that is very important is general. The command general. What is it exactly? General. Can you see it? Okay, so it is where we're going to like put all the number of the proportion of the workspace, the ascending line, descending line here. So the m square, okay, it is the you know, the unit that we're going to work on, or the size of the working space. Okay, so usually for open types nowadays, right, people kind of like designer prefer to use 1,000 m size, okay, or shortly it's called 1,000 UPM or unit per m. Okay, this is a relative unit. If you kind of like a little bit confused about the unit, please go back at in Google Classroom and just look at the measurement section. Okay, that's going to have some explanation about absolute unit and relative unit over there. Next, you have to define the descenders lines and define the ascender height here. If you change any number, okay, it will affect the m size, so make sure that when you kind of like add up the height of the descender and ascender together, it equals 1,000 here. Okay, so for Adobe Jensen's is the descender, the distance of the descender is 280 and the ascender is 720. Okay, then now we're ready to place all the character in each of the grid window. Just hit OK. Now just go to you know, just select each of the grid window here. You know, just select one of the grid window first. Okay, we're going to start working with lower cases, right? And the A character is the first character, right? Just use one click. Okay, don't double click it. Okay, if you double click it, you will go inside the grid window to make an, you know, some revision of the typefaces or something, or the character, sorry. Just click it only once. Okay, and then after that go to file, okay, and choose import. Just go to file here, file and import, and find where you know, you kind of like save all the letter forms. In my case it's here. Okay, type element, TLK Jensen's, lower cases. Okay, select it. As you can see here, the folder is empty because just look at the format here. It's PDF, right? Just select SVG, right? Select SVG, and as you can see, it's pop up. All the file will pops up. Select first character. Okay, if you work organizedly, then it's not going to be a problem, right? A is character 1, B is character 2, C is character 3, like this. It's just imported. What happened? All right, another window will pops up here. Okay, another thing that I would like to emphasize, okay, don't forget to uncheck this box. All right, scale to fit, otherwise it's going to change your proportions. Just check it out. Just don't tick this box, sorry, don't check it. Okay, don't check it, and select OK. And as you can see here, letter A kind of like show up here in the grid window. We can double click it and see, okay, the character here, right? It sits on the baseline here, and they also have like there's the line down there, down the baseline, and there also, you know, the ascender line above there. But where is the X height? Here's the thing, this is very painful. You have to create your own X height guideline for FontForge. Okay, how to do that? It's very easy. You kind of like, it's the same system with Adobe Illustrator. You kind of like drag a line from, drag your mouse from rulers, okay, to the positions of X height, which is the X height of Adobe Jensen is 382. Okay, so it's probably around here. I think so. Yeah, around here or here, around that area, something between here. And when you release it, you can kind of like give it a name. Okay, give the guideline a name. In this case, I'm going to give it a name as X height, and just click OK. We have an X height. And what is it? This vertical guideline is the space, okay, between each of the character. If you have no space at all, then each of the character will be placed, you know, like side by side. There's no space between them, so make sure they have enough space between it. Okay, you can do it manually, like drag this character, okay, drag this line, okay, to be closer to the character, or you can use another option which is called matrix window. We're going to talk about matrix window later. You can also make an adjustment of you know, the letter form later, okay, by just, it's the same system as Adobe Illustrator again. Okay, there's a anchor point. Okay, just find the anchor point. If you move it around, right, it's going to be like this. You can move it around as well. You can play with the Bezier curve like this. Okay, you can also kind of like, you know, use the tools here to draw letter form, but this is my personal point of view. Okay, I think it's easier to work on Illustrator than working with FontForge. When you draw a letter form here, there's a lot of, it's very basic, the tools here. Okay, so sometimes it can create some shape that is very complex. And another painful thing is you can see the counter inside the letter A here, right? If you draw out the character in FontForge, okay, make sure you draw it clockwise, all right? Otherwise the counter will disappear. So next, you can like just select each of the, you know, each of the grid windows like this, okay, and import each of the character. You can use a shortcut on your keyboard as well by pressing, hold down Control and Shift and I, okay, together for PC, okay, but for Mac, just hold down Command, Shift and I together and just select each of the character and import it. Okay, import it like this. Okay, make sure you finish to import all the lowercase character like this. Okay, just repeatedly do it until you kind of like import all the AUC character here. The same rule apply to other character like capital letter or symbols here as well. Same things, alright? So I'm going to introduce you just a little bit about matrix window. What is it? It's we can do the kernings here and also trackings, okay, changing the distance between each of the character here. If you kind of type all the glyph that you kind of like put all the character inside, okay, the glyph window, it will show up as a, you know, it will show up here. As you can see here, the distance between the B and the C is very large here, right? You can make an adjustment like drag and drop here, and the number in the table down there will change, okay, it will change. You can drag and drop like this, okay, or we can just give it a distance, okay. Anyhow, that is pretty easy, right? So we're going to talk about the kerning sidebarring again next time, alright? I hope you enjoy this video and see you tomorrow. Bye.